Welcome to another edition of Future Stars Now, brought to you by Front Row Material. I am the Ritt, and of course, missing today is my good friend, Mike Freland. Tonight we've got a great guest who, he's finally on the downside of his trip. And, he's got big things coming ahead. We're going to bring him in tonight, right now. Foxx Vinyer.
What up? What up?
Man, how you doing?
Cheers to people.
Man, you sit there and you had one hell of a road trip in the past 24 hours.
Oh man, just driving straight on 95 for about 15 hours.
That is by far. I've been to not Jacksonville, but I did a little trip with the family back in the day down to Disney.
Yeah, that's 2 hours. That's 2 more hours.
That was ridiculous. Like, I can't imagine. And you went by yourself, right?
Yeah.
So, but
Yep.
man, you're down there, AEW. Down there,
Fingers crossed.
Down there for what are we saying? A dark match?
I'm down for Dark and Dynamite, not the Beyond Dynamite or Dark. Who knows? It's hey, come see what we have type of deal. So hope for the best, expect the worst.
Hey, well, seeing you on PPW, man.
I should have brought the belt. It's in the car. Relax, you.
That's where I first got my little taste of you, and seeing you on there. It's not, you're right up there with a lot of great talent.
Thank you.
They go on PPW. Next thing you know, they're somewhere big. MLW, AEW Dark, and you're just the next contestant, it looks like.
So there's so much talent out there, so much. But I'm 12 years in the game. New opportunities pop off every day. I am a current champion at PPW, current heavyweight champion at World of Hurt Wrestling, and if you have a championship and you feel like losing it, do it.
Man, so 12 years in the business. So let's take a little trip back in the time. What got you into the love of professional wrestling?
Growing up, my father always took me and my brother down to the Knickerbocker Arena, home of the 1992 Royal Rumble. So we did go to that. That was fun. Yeah, so my father and his girlfriend and their daughters at the time loved wrestling, and they always took us in because they were a little older than us.
Mm-hmm.
My brother's 2.5 years older than me, and I remember getting it was a Rockers poster, but Shawn Michaels just flipped the script. So she was my sister because we grew up together a little bit.
Yeah.
Was walking through and ripped it up no, not Shawn, blah blah blah. But my earliest memory is, I think it has to be WrestleMania 7 or sooner. I just remember a large panned crowd, and it had the ring, and it was, and I'm sure Warrior was the focus, but it wasn't Warrior and Hogan. But I knew Hogan, obviously, because everyone knew Hogan. But that's my first one. Maybe it could have been sooner than that, but I think it's Macho Warrior was the first that I remember sitting in front of the TV whoa. Because it was always rented video, or how come these ropes are yellow when WCW would catch that, or NWA, or that one time. Or whatever that video game is that have LOD, but they're in black spikes on the cover. It's a Nintendo game.
Yeah.
Yeah. It might be just NWA wrestling or tag team wrestling or something, because you were the only people that you could play as are two guys in brown trunks.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing that all the time as a kid. And then playing the WrestleMania game. You remember the one with the 3 ropes that was annoying as shit?
Yes.
Yeah. I remember my dad's girlfriend's kids got them. And I just sat there watching. It's whoa. And you see the the crucifix going by to get the power up. But ever since then, it's just been the love for it. Like when I was a kid, I'd have like fake pleather jackets or like a windbreaker for like t-ball, um, and I would always have like a just like a regular muscle shirt as a kid, sweatpants. I would take my father. He had tube socks as he worked in a steel mill,
Mm-hmm.
and on me, who's 6, 7, 8 years old, they come up to like just below my knee. So I put them on white, and I walk down my hallway slapping doorknobs, thinking I was Bret Hart, and then I go, "Don't jump on the bed!" But the rest of those pillows, can't fight me, pillow, find me.
So, when did you start thinking, as you went on older, and that you're like, maybe when did it click? I could possibly do this, because back in those days,
4 years ago.
I was gonna say, but back in those days, everybody was huge. You had your 6'5", 6'6", 300 pound,
Yeah.
monsters, and it wasn't until later, that smaller guys can do this just as well.
Well, that was like the new generation, right? Like Brett, Sean.
Brett, Sean, and
I,
all of
I
them.
I'm a Bret Hart fan for life. That's why I wear pink and black on most of my stuff. I just threw in the yellow here. T-shirts available now. Hit me up. Um, but it was just always Bret. He just looked cool and he matched. Like he wore the black top, black trunks, pink tape, and then he'd wear black top, pink top, black bottoms, and it would just he would never mess up. You wouldn't see him wearing pink tights with pink or with black knee pads. It'd be the pink knee pads over it. And even though it was off, like he wore like the trunks on the outside
Mm-hmm.
too, that were a little bit off, he still looked badass. And that's why I wear white boots. Between him and Mr. Perfect, I always wore white boots because it just it just stood out, and it just when they zoomed in, I would watch them just take steps, and I'm like, I'm gonna wear a white boot. That and Lex Luger's boots that came up to his neck. I was like, I gotta wear white boots.
So yeah, so Bret Hart was a big influence, and if you not just the gear, but if you look at his work ethic
So
and
good.
and how he perfected himself on taking care of his opponent. Once you got into the business,
Right.
is that something that you kind of look forward to also?
To not hurting anybody,
Yes.
yeah. Like I try to, in wrestling we have the kiss method. I'm sure everybody has it. I
Mm-hmm.
have it. It's just keep it simple, stupid. Like find a few things that you're good at that look amazing. Do it. You know, because if I'm in a new territory or a new spot where it's like, hey, it's your debut here, these people don't know you, they may have saw you or heard about you, whatever. I'm gonna do my hits. Like, here's this, here's that, here's that. Oh, remember that guy? He has silly hair and he can do some shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I always, I like to, when I'm teaching like the students that I have at like our little school up in Glens Falls, home of Hacksaw Ho, um, I try to lay it in without laying it in. Like, make it as real as possible, as snug as possible. Like Brett's stuff always looks so like impactful. Like even like the back, like a backbreaker to the knee. It was
Mm-hmm.
just like Jesus, he's killing this guy, and it all meant something. The psychology of it, but so I try to do that. I used to even get in the ring like Bret Hart, like he sits on the rope. So
Yeah.
I did that for like I did that up until I got to do something with Bret Hart at the show. I met him backstage, and I was like, "Oh my god, like I'm wearing pink and black because of you." Um, he took a picture with me, which was really cool. And then we go out to the ring, and he has a promo, and he's talking about whatever. He's like, "Oh yeah, you're a piece of shit." Like, oh, Bret, come on, man! I thought we were pals. But it was awesome. But yeah, like I try to be as real as possible without hurting me. I don't think I've hurt anybody that I know of. I definitely try not to hurt anybody. I try to protect. I've seen people almost get hurt. You catch them out of the air, or
Yeah.
like whenever someone like without the kayfabe break it, but like they're like, "Hey, I want to do a dive." I'm like, "I will catch you. I will make sure you are okay." It's I care about how you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people in the business, uh, they want that trust, and if you get that trust and build it up, they feel more comfortable doing more stuff with you.
Right. Like, I mean, anyone that I've ever stepped in the ring with, I will do. I trust them. Like when I did the AEW Dark and I was wrestling Brian Cage, never met him before then. And
Hmm.
he's like, I do this, I do that, I do this, I do that. I'm gonna do the drill claw, which is standard driver, and I'm like, okay, I trust you, man. And here we go.
Yeah.
But
So when you went to pick a wrestling school, did you do research, or do you just look in the area, or is it first one that caught your attention?
it was actually accidental. Like when I was like 13 years old, um, my brother was like wrestling with his friends in like the yard,
Hmm.
but they would always go to a comic book store, and that store was run by Kenny Casanova.
Yeah.
So it was run by him and a few other guys who ran a local promotion, New Breed Wrestling. And so like on weekends, hey, if you want to come down, you pay $8 to $10. We'll let you guys get in the ring, bump around, we'll teach you some stuff, and then we'll film it for you, and I'll do commentary. And here you go, have fun, kids. Here you go. So like I did that for like I don't know 2 months as a kid, and then my best friend from seventh grade, he moved away in ninth grade.
Hmm.
And then I just happened to be driving one day, and I was with my other best friend. I was like, "Yo, is that Rob?" He's like, "I don't know. Let's pull over." So we followed the dude. Just got in the followed the guy. I didn't know if it was him. Just following this dude around my town. And I was like, "Oh man, it is him." I was like, "Yo, what's up, man?" So we started talking. He's like, "I work at Gold's Gym. Up there, there's a wrestler who works out there, Oman Tortuga, one half of the Outcast Killers, former Ring of Honor, etc." Um, he's like, he knows a guy who's going to open a school. It's up in Hudson Falls, New York. Do you want to go check it out? And I was like, I was in a ring before when I was like 13. Of course, I know everything. So I went up, and of course I loved it. I was like, yeah. I didn't have money though. Didn't have a job. Didn't have money. And JP Black is my trainer. Do it that academy was like, hey, get a job, come back. I'll train you. And I was like, yeah. Good luck with that. I don't know. I'm 24.
Hmm.
Just a punk kid. And then literally got home. The next morning, my phone rang for a pizza shop. Hey, would you like to be a driver? Can I get an advance? Like, and then 6 days later, I started training. That was in 2006. So it kind of like fell into my lap. Plus, I was training with my best friend, and I was like, let's be a tag team. And then we trained for like 9 months straight, twice a week, sometimes three, just getting our ass kicked. Like, like I said, the Outcast Killers, Omar Tortuga, um, Diablo, Santiago come in. The Now, Vic
Hmm.
Delicious, Hal Collins, and Bobby Fish will come through. So as we were training as a tag team, it was like, hey, we want to be a tag team. So my trainer JP um, brought in the Now, Outcast, and Fish, and it was a we wrestled and trained from like 11 in the morning to about 7, 8 at night, and it was the next day I had to walk with a walker, legit, because it was just like, hey, I want to try this new suplex out. All right, kid, go in there. Okay. Hey, I want to work on this spine buster. Hey, I'll take it. Hey, I want to work on this. Want to work on that, and we just got our ass kicked. And so I always think like things just fell into place. Like I
Hmm.
haven't seen my best friend in 3 years, and then the first second I see him, hey, I'm gonna try wrestling. Hey, I'll go do it. You know.
So, training. Well, like when we talk to Mikey Whipwreck and everything, he's got that old school mentality of, let's sit there and try all this stuff out, you know, and see if you're actually wanted to get in that ring before you
Like
actually get in the ring. Is it
blow up drills and stuff.
blow up drills to see how hungry you really are and stuff? And
My
was it the same thing up at your school?
not that I believe, not that I remember. It was more like here's how you take a bump, and then it was 2 hours later, still taking bump, and it was strictly said if you were not give any moves for at least 3 weeks. You would just learn to take them. And then if you want to learn something, hey, I want to learn how to do a running clothesline. Okay, you're going to take a running clothesline.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So anything that we wanted to learn, we had to take first, and then we would be taught. But we did a lot of working out. Like we had to run up and down stairs. We were training in February in 2006, and it was cold. There was no heat in this building. If you want to be warm,
Mm-hmm.
you better fucking chain around. Like it was cold. And then like so we did a lot of that. Like I remember dropping down to like the smallest I've ever been in my life. My friend came back from like he moved to Louisiana for like 6 months. Came back. He's like, dude, what happened? Because I went from like being like this chunky kid to like training 3 days a week plus working out and everything. But it wasn't like too many blow up drills. It was more like learn, 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 and then all right, now we're gonna chain, and then we just got stretched, and that's when it was like I'm trying my hardest to get out of anything. And my trainer at the time was probably 35, 36, and just 240 pounds solid, and just yoking me up the whole time. But I prefer shit like that more than just blow up drills. But it does take a lot. Like I hate people who train that don't watch wrestling,
Mm-hmm.
who just go in to do it rather than like I want to do this. Like I see myself here, rather than I just want to take a picture on Facebook and be like, hey, I'm training. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's hard to weed people out, but I've been pretty good so far.
So you're training to be a tag team. So you said it was about 9 months. And then, did you have your first match? And how did that come about? And it's a three-parter. And then what was it like going out in front of the crowd for your first time?
So what happened was we trained from like February till November, December that year. And then life got in the way. My tag partner went to college, did all the school stuff. I got engaged. I bought a house, yada, yada. And then 3 years later, 2009, another school opened up, this time only 10 minutes away from our house. Because we kind of lived like only like 25 minutes, if that, from each other, probably 15. And the same thing, same story. Hey, school's opening up. You want to go work out and see if we remember anything? And then we did, and that was at the In Your Face Wrestling Academy. And like that was run by Drake Evans, Scott Scarsdale. And we would wrestle and, help their students around while, relearning some stuff and like correcting some stuff that they were doing. And then it was 3 months after that, it was April's like, hey, come to this show, come here, we'll do ring crew, maybe we'll get you guys against Demolition. I was like, oh, wow, cool. And then it was like 2 months later, so our debut was actually July 17th, no, 18th, July 18th, 2009. And that was an hour away, up north in Queensbury, New York. And we sold, between us, probably like 65 tickets, 70 tickets between us. Because everyone's like, yo, we want to go see our boys. We want to see our brother. We want to see our family. So going out there wasn't too bad because I used to be in a band. So I was like, I love this attention. However, the match is the most boring thing I've ever been a part of in my life. I'm pretty sure, I think it's like 16 minutes long. I hit like 2 moves and the rest was like, we worked that headlock, brother. Like, it was so, my tag partner was way better than me. Like, he was 6'2", 6'3", looked like Umaga. Kind of like light skin.
Yeah.
But just big. Like big. And like he knew stuff. Like that was his dream. I want to be in WWE. This is my dream. I'm doing it. And I was more like, I'm your friend. I like hanging out with you. Cool. And then like eventually it slowly happened to be like, maybe I can do this. But yeah, that first match, going out there, yeah, come on everybody, town we're in, was easy. It was watching it back that I was like, ugh. Well, now, obviously, like 12 years later, you watch it back. I'm just like, I was wearing like, remember the store Steve & Barry's, like the college store?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I was wearing like Marberries or whatever those cheap shoes were. Um, I wore those, like a pair of Lucha tights that somebody is wearing today. I think the kid has them somewhere. And then like I remember I wore this like holographic skull shirt from Kmart. And then I cut the sleeves off, like Gold's Gym gloves, a bandana, earrings. That much hasn't changed, but I just remember like we were capital punishment because we're from the capital and we're punishing people. And we got better from there because we started in a 6-man tag, and then the next time we had a match, our trainer JP took us out to Rochester, where guys like Colin Delaney and Brody Lee and all these dudes were making names for themselves and doing stuff, and here we come, hey. But it got better.
So, you mentioned a little bit that you were in a band. You're a lead singer.
In the band that I'm currently in right now, it's Zoo Green 6. You can buy stuff on Apple, Amazon, YouTube, whatever. You can buy these bracelets. I currently do the vocals, guitar, bass, rhythm guitar, lead guitar. If we need some keys, do that. And then I have my drummer, and he does some vocals too. But, so we just layer stuff, record it. And then if we want to play live next year, it's just getting people to be like, hey, come play this song that I already wrote completely. It's recorded. Come play this. Come do this. Come do that. But we'll see.
So does that sit there and being the lead singer and being in a band, did that help you prepare you, to be out in front of live crowds wrestling?
Yeah, because when we used to do classes and then be like, all right, you're doing a promo today. And it's like, my tag partner Rob was like, you just got to project your voice. I said, dude, I was a singer in a band, like, on a thing. I mean, I'm not a singer. I can't hit notes, but I, like, screamed and rapped and, like, controlled the crowd. I knew how to do that part. But, yeah, then the promo came out, and I was like, oh, it's different. That's different. My bad. But it's, I think, music and wrestling, that's why they're connected so much. They're just parallel. It's like to like write out a match, or like people call your match out there, brother. Like you can do improv and have a match, but if you're gonna sit there and like write a masterpiece, it's the same thing as if you're laying down a guitar riff and you're building everything around it. So here's your finish. Let's build around it and get to it. Here's your riff. Let's build around it and we'll make it an actual song. So, like, I think they're parallel. I think they help each other. Like, I always said I'm either going to make it in music by going through wrestling, or I'm going to make it in wrestling by going through music. Now I just come out to my own theme song or music and try to sell the album at the merch table, too, and stuff like that. But I did come out as, I wrestled as Greg Durst once, and that sounds exactly who it sounds like. I wore my red baseball cap, white t-shirt, cargo pants, and I just did a lot of come on, yeah, and I would hit people. But we did like a whole bunch of stuff. It was a fun thing because it was in Rhode Island, where the crowd wasn't a wrestling crowd. It was just like, hey, let's go see this wrestling. We're at a bar, there's beer, and then they had a live band playing. So the guy I wrestled, King Leon VI, was in the ring talking smack. Oh yes, I'm a king. And then the band played break stuff, and I did the vocals, hyped the crowd up, and then we went on and played around. It's on YouTube. Did some hot dog flavors in the water and stuff, and then it got like 57,000 views in like a week. Trying to tweet Fred Durst like, "Hey man, good debut." But that's one thing I would love to do with. I mean, the firework character is money if used right, but nobody's using it, I guess. Nobody wants to do anything because characters are either out or they're in. Who knows? So it's always up in the air. But one of the best things I would want to do is incorporate everything together. It's kind of what I'm doing now. Like all music, I'm doing acting stuff. So music, movies, TV, whatever bullshit. And then wrestling. And just, it's all me.
Would you ever sit there and think like, now I'm going to say PPW because that's where I see you the most at, where they would actually let you play your entrance music live. Like, I think that would be like awesome.
I don't know if they would do it, but I know like a closer to me they might. I mean, it'd be easy too. Just gotta set up the drums. Like
Yeah.
I record everything in my apartment. I have electric everything, so
Hmm.
we just record there. But to put a live setup takes 2 seconds. Bop 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 bop. I did come out to like doing my own stuff with a guitar player and drums once, like maybe like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, against Robo, or now he's AAW's Joho, I think. I forget how they pronounce his name. Sorry, my friend. Matt Hardy's guy. Um, but yeah, that would be awesome to me because I would incorporate it in every show.
Hmm.
Like, hey, you guys need some entertainment for intermission? We'll play. And then I just play to the ring. But I keep them playing during my matches. Like if I'm G'ing up, whoa, and you hear dun 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 dun, dun, you know.
That,
But
that,
it's getting a
that,
promoter to be like, bring it in, Fox, let's do it. Is
you,
hard as shit.
yeah, you would sit there and think, honestly, that would keep the crowd going through intermission. You could sit there and play yourself
Yeah.
to the ring right after intermission, and the whole,
Right.
like you said, have the drummer there to get you going into the match. No one's
Yeah.
doing it, you know.
I
So
might just start doing it.
that might be something you might want to look into because you gotta nowadays you gotta find your niche to make yourself
Right.
different that people are going to remind you and remember you, and
Like,
that.
exactly. Yeah. Like one of the things that I always say, like I'll come up with all these ideas, right? I'll be, oh, this would be great. This would be great. And then people would literally say, nah, man, it's not going to work. Don't do it. No. I'm like, all right, yeah, you're probably right. And then 2 months later, somebody else does it. And I'm like, well, I thought you guys said it was stupid. Why are we doing this now? Like Seth Rollins move, that ripcord knee.
Hmm.
I was doing that 4 years ago, and everyone's like, "Yeah, it's not big enough for a finisher. You do something else." I'm like, "Yeah, you're probably right." And then he does it for a finisher, like, "Yo, that's awesome." I'm like, you know,
Yeah, but you've also you've worked for Impact Wrestling.
uh,
So you want to tell everybody a little bit how you got into the Impact?
PPW. Well, actually, they kind of got me into each other because Impact was doing a tryout seminar
Hmm.
at a show with PPW,
Well, was this
and
the D'Lo
I
Brown one?
no, they did one before with Sammy
Okay.
Callahan and Eddie Edwards, I believe. It might have been somebody else, but then no, it was I can't think of his name now, but he just got hired by WWE, so he couldn't do it. So Eddie Edwards and Sammy Callahan, excuse me, jumped in. So I went to there, and I'm just as professional as I can be, just sitting there watching, letting them, hey, we want to see who can bump, and just the regular generic stuff that you do at seminars.
Hmm.
And then I just sat there, and Sammy like looked over the rope at me and was like, "You're just cool, man." I'm like, "What?" Like I'm just sitting here. He's like,
Hmm.
"Nah, man, you look like your hair, you look cool." And I wasn't even in gear. I was just normal, just chilling. And then like I got in the ring, we did our little stuff, and then they chose people who they wanted on the show, and they chose me, and I did like a trios match with the Punk Rock All Stars at the time. Um, they just happened to have weird hair and nails painted, and I had that. And I was like, hey, I have pink and green, let's do it. And then after that match, PPW was like, hey, we would love you at every show, and I've been there since. And then Impact, they used me later on that year. I think it was, yeah. I don't know which came first. I know the D'Lo Brown seminar was at the end of the year,
Hmm.
but I did Impact Television against Madman Fulton in May. I'm just not sure if it was May 2020 or May 19. I think it might have been May 19. But that was cool because I got to wrestle in the ECW arena, and I just don't know how to like. I'm always a good hand, I would say,
Hmm.
because like, hey, we need somebody who can sell, who can put this guy over, who still looks intimidating, but can also make our dudes elevate.
Yeah.
So I don't mind. That's what my gig is in wrestling. Let's go, Barry Hartwitz. Um, so like we did a thing with him, and then I did the Twitch pay-per-view. They did like the little show that did with that, which I shined in that. That was pretty cool. I mean, it aired. The Madman Fulton thing aired, and I was watching it on Twitch as it aired. So it was like 2 weeks later,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, oh man, all these people are talking like, who's this guy? What's his color? What's his stupid hair? And I'm like, hey man, this guy's really cool. You guys should give him a chance. Like, it's me. But Impact would be dope to actually go back and do a run and like actually like be signed and like see what a major company can do with me. Like, I sometimes I feel like maybe the tassels and the firework gimmick,
Mm-hmm.
some people don't know what to do with it. Like Ring of Honor loved my stuff, but they didn't give me any opportunity. They didn't know what to do with it. Rather than being like, hey, what if you just throw that out, be this ham sandwich, and use you? It's like they want you to figure your own thing out and come back like already made. But I mean, it's just easier that way for companies. But if any company out there wants a guy who can do some shit, I'll be your hand sandwich and go, go, go. But
Yeah,
yeah, I
and
mean, gotta have fun doing what you do, I guess. Really.
and you may mention that you did a little stint in Ring of Honor. Well, what were your thoughts about Ring of Honor closing the doors to possibly come back with a reboot?
I was sad for everyone that I know that works there because they just lost a thing that meant a lot to them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like I spent since 2012 to about 2017, like 5 straight years. I was at every show, like first at the building, last to leave, helping, ring crew, things, carrying all this stuff, like security guard, whatever they needed, I was there. And I had a lot of opportunities with them. Like I think I had like total of like 8 matches, and like I was in like the top prospect tournament 2016, the biggest of in history, 12 man, which is
Mm-hmm.
awesome. Um, and like so they closed for the reboot. So now like everyone that was there isn't contracted and can come back. However, in April is when they're coming back. That's what 5 months away.
Yeah.
Who's still going to be around? Who's going to be like, you know what? I'm going to leave this contract of wherever I am and go do this. Some will, but then there's guys like me who they know of and who've been around and are been waiting for an opportunity to show what they can do. So it's kind of like an exciting opportunity that when they reboot, like, let's go. Here I am, knock on first in line. Let's do something. You know what I mean? And hopefully that opportunity happens for me and everybody else who's in the same boat as I am, who's been around, has the talent, can work, can do this, are good at the locker room, and then just needs the opportunity of someone to be like, here's a ball, let's make some money. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
you got people like Jay Lethal, who was the backbone of Ring of Honor for such a long time.
great dude.
He went and signed with AEW, but then
Has he?
you got
Yeah, I don't know if has he had a match since his debut?
no, he had his debut match and that was it.
Yeah.
But then you got people like Roxy, who's defending that women's title on the Indies.
Right.
You have great stories that are waiting to be told with the Briscoes and FTR. You know, so there's
Right.
a lot of
Like,
there's a lot of potential there for the reboot when it's ready, but you
and
need
I
people.
and I hope that they come back
Yeah.
because you know I I've had a good relationship with the Briscoes ever since I met them. Like when I was told I was going to be in the top prospect tournament,
Hmm.
and I was hyped. I was like, holy shit, I'm having an opportunity. Everything I work for is really happening. And then I didn't see a graphic of me pop up for months. Everyone else did. And then it was like like Kevin Kelly messaged me and was like, hey, they went a different way. We're doing a fatal 4-way. It's going to be something different. I don't know if you're going to be in it. I said, no problem. Just tell me what I need to do for next year. That was my goal, be in the top tournament. I did that for like 4 years. What do I need to do? What do I need to do? What do I need to do? But I went down to North Carolina. I mean, I was driving. I drive everywhere. With Action Ortiz, who was in the tournament that year.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'm not booked. I'm kind of upset. Like, do I still want to drive to North Carolina just to hang out? And, you know, but then I was like, I don't want to let Ben down because I told him that I will drive us down that way. Because if he would made plans, like, I have a ride, blah, 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 and I just out of nowhere, hey, man, I ain't going, it messes up his stuff.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do that. So I said, you know what, I'm still going to go help out. You never know. And then I go down, and everyone's like, hey, congratulations, congratulations. And I'm like, for what? Like, you're the fourth guy. I said, no, I was told I'm not. They're like, no, I'm pretty sure. I said, I don't know what you're talking about, man. And then, like, an hour, 2 hours later, I'm just sitting there. You know, everything's done. Just waiting for the show to start in 4 hours. And Delirious walks over, and he's like, hey, Fox, you have your gear. And I said, of course. He's like, congratulations, you're number 4. And, of course, I'm like, tried not to, you know, my eyes welled up. I'm like, thank you. And then I go, run to the back, get into the ring, like, hey, guys, I'm number 4. Like, yeah, we told you. 2 seconds later, Mark Briscoe comes out. Hey, Fox, it's me and you, 3rd episode, main event. I have 2 opportunities tonight. And he was like, you have 2 opportunities tonight. Let's get you a contract. And I'm like, Mark Briscoe, whatever you need, let's do it. Me and Mark called this whole match, right? And as I'm calling the other stuff too, had everything. And then last second, he's like, hey, they took you out because you had this opportunity earlier too. I was like, oh. But like, Mark was so dead set on, let's get you a contract. Let's do what I can do. I shoot my confetti, right? The first thing he said to me, do you have your confetti popper with you? I said, of course, Mark. Foxx Vinyer brings it everywhere. He's like, shoot me in the face with it. I go, Mark, it says, don't aim at humans. I said, I don't care. He goes, I don't care. Shoot it in my face. And I said, we'll see. But like, and I pitched an idea once of being a Briscoe to him. Like, because Jay is so like hood and gangster. Mm-hmm. And Mark is so like country. And I'm thinking, Foxx Vinyer, where I live in Albany, is kind of hood. 30 minutes north is country. So I'm literally in the middle of both. I can kind of be both and be like a cousin. And like, I had the whole idea of like, I was in the tournament, I lost, and then I like walk by and I like bump Kevin Kelly. Or not bump him, like knock him down. I just like bump into him. And I'm like, dude, and keep walking. And then later on, he interviews him. Hey, what do you think? And he's like, well, don't even talk. I got it. And then I want to go like next episode or whatever. I'm paving up, gimmick ready. Marker J walks in. I stand up, hey, bro. You know, they're face to face. Don't disrespect anybody. Don't you ever. You represent, blah, blah. Boom, whatever. And then it was like, so it was like low key that they were taught, why are the Briscoes talking with this guy who's painting his face and wears tassels and stupid hair? And then, like, I would lose and lose and lose, and then they take me under their wing. I'm, whatever, just like, oh, this is Cousin Briscoe, or whatever the name was I had. And then, like, as they build me up, say for another year I said, yo, in a year, when they need a big baby face, here comes, boom, here comes confetti, here comes me completely back, saving the day type of thing. I pitched it to both of them separately. They loved it. They're like, let's do it. And then nothing came of it because I didn't know how to go up to the booker and be like, hey, I had this idea. I'm a nobody here. Nope, I just lift the ring sometimes. I tape it with Paul Turner. But Mia Briscoe, what do you think? You know, I didn't know how to pitch it. I didn't know because I don't want to overstep boundaries. I was just cool with the Briscoes because we would talk and bullshit around like backstage and stuff. But you never know, you know.
Yeah. So okay, the Top Prospect tournament or that match with Mark. If you could have picked which one you wanted, if they said you can't do both, which one would you have taken at that time?
I think the Top Prospect is good because it's forever in history of 2016 Top Prospect Tournament, biggest in the company,
Mm-hmm.
12 people, fatal four-way to advance. But that's forever. That's history. But Mark would have done whatever he could to let me shine and do everything. And I could have listened to him, learned from him, and just, here we go. So if I could do it over, maybe just go with the Briscoe match, because I know he would have went out of his way to make Foxx Vinyer look better than Foxx Vinyer would ever look by himself or with anybody.
Yeah, in a fatal four-way, it's kind of hard to get yourself to stand out. You know,
and like I mean, I got my first like guy over the barricade hitting it to like hype up.
Mm-hmm.
I jumped to the top rope and went right to the outside because they're like, anybody want to dive? I said, I want to do everything. Just the only chance I get in Ring of Honor, I'm doing it. And it just so happened this guy in the crowd, I can't remember his name, snapped a picture. And it was a 12-hour drive. I was probably 7-8 hours driving back, and my Facebook boom pops up, and the guy sent me the picture. And it's literally me flying with LSG and Ken Phoenix catching me, and I'm just in the air with the big Ring of Honor logo behind it. And I was like, this just validates that what I've been working for X amount of years, I just had my opportunity. I'm not just talking about it. Guys, look, I did something. So that was awesome. And then that led me to do a television spot in Las Vegas against Cheeseburger at the time. And he went out of his way too. He was like, I walked in and Kevin Kelly's like, hey, Fox, have you seen anybody? I said, nope, I just got here. He's like, you have 7 minutes with Cheeseburger. I was like, 7 minutes? I got new gear. I'm ready to go. I was so hyped up. Me and Burger talked about it, called this whole big elaborate thing. Then he came back later, was like, we have 7 minutes for the whole segment. We have about 1 minute. I was like, oh, well, whatever you need, Burger. Like, I'm just happy to be, it's the opportunity, you know?
Yeah.
It's my first Ring of Honor television, whatever. And then, say maybe half hour later, he came back and was like, yeah, talk to the bookers. We got 2 minutes. What do you want to do? I said, I just want to get my power slam in. And that's what we did in the match. We did a thing. He went for a weave, kicked me in the stomach, ducked my line. I dropped down, hit the Topanga Unchained, flipped out, went for a pin, and then All Night Express beat the shit out of me. But like, it's cool like having Kevin Kelly and Steve Corino doing commentary. They're, oh, he's the love child of the missing link, and blah, 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 blah. Funny story about that Vegas thing, though. They're like, Fox, you're going out cold. I'm like, what? So me and the ref went out, and Bobby Cruz was doing, announcing. And the crowd is literally chanting, who's this guy? Who's this guy? Who are you? And I'm like, you know who I am. Tell him who I am. And Cruz is like, I don't know you. I was like, what the fuck? But after that, after I hit the thing, Burger was getting beat up, and the crowd started chanting, face paint guy, to come in and help him. But my job was to lay on the ground. So that was fun. Because I never had to do it before.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of Ring of Honor guys, they're willing to go that extra mile to help out all the newer guys. You know, you said Mark, Jay, Cheeseburger. I heard Jay Lethal was the exact same way. He would do whatever he could.
Yeah, and like especially if you're one of the guys who went to, you know how they used to do the camps a lot.
Yeah.
So, and all those guys would help out at the camps. And I remember at the Top Prospect, I'm trying to paint my face, and it's January, and it's North Carolina, and I'm all hot, like, oh my god, my paint's not sticking, and then I just lose everything. So I'm in the bathroom under the hand dryer, just on the ground, and Jay Lethal just walks in, doesn't see me at first, just, what the hell? I said I want to stay on. He's like, oh, it looks sweet, man. I said, thanks. It was cool. Still
So
scared the shit of him though.
yeah. So here we are, full circle.
Here we are.
15-hour car ride. AEW. Your second time being down there?
Yeah.
So
I mean, I won't know if I'm doing anything until I get there, but just being able to be there is better than not being there. So every and any opportunity to be seen, to uh, you know, um, talk with the boys and it's like talk with like I know a lot of the guys there, over the years, like especially like Bobby, it'd be cool to connect with him again. Um, but just to watch it and see how like I like the production side. Like I did Gorilla and the headsets for Ring of Honor on one of the All Women of Honor shows. They needed somebody. I was like, I'm here. Give me a headset. So like, yeah, give them the script. And I did my best to produce that. And like, hey, we need whoever need it, I got them. So I would also like to figure out if you're not going to wrestle at AEW, like, do they need cameramen? Do they need someone to write music? Like, there's many things.
I know a guy down there at AEW you could talk to. Let's go get a hold of Jerry Lynn.
Yeah, where is he? He's supposed to put me over today.
Oh, well, hey, I'll sit there and I'll go and send him the text message. I'm like, hey, there's a guy that
he said we got talking the last time I was there, and I was like, hey, I don't know if you remember me, but like we were on this shit show together, and like the ring broke, and like the crowd stayed there for 3 hours as we fixed it, and then we were just talking about like other little stuff. But then he's like, you know what? You remind me of the missing link because I had my face painted. I was like, then I told them a story that I tell people when they say it. Like everyone says I look at the missing link, I remind them of it. So he used to have all green with blue. So in Maine, I was doing a double shot, and on a Friday they were chanting "missing link, missing link, missing link." Saturday, I paint my face green, blue across the eyes. I did my own little beard paint just to hype myself up. Do I get a missing link chant? Ninja Turtle. I'm like, bro. But so I told him that, and like he laughed about it. And then he came up to me after my match and was like, he put me over, said I was like it was really good, and I knew where I was. My selling was on point and everything, and that was good to hear because it was a 3-minute match against Brian Cage. I got a little bit of stuff in, but what was more important was that I was there in the right spots where I needed to be for Brian Cage, because I'm nobody. He was the FTW champion, so it was good to not to validate myself or to get validated, but to be validated. Like, I did do pretty well, and especially with Jerry Lynn, like telling me about it, like that was cool.
Yeah, and to be on the indies is one thing, to hit all your marks and all your cues, but to do it on TV, that's a whole another point there, because all it takes is for you to be out of place one time, and you can end up messing up a whole chain of events.
Right, and luckily it was just a 3-minute banger, and but like I watch it back and I'm proud of just the way I sold to where I needed to be. And like there's one spot where I hit him with my European uppercut, and I come off the rope and he throws the line and I duck. And there's no hesitation, just duck, turn, and he murders me. But it was like smooth. I can be proud of it and be like, that's some Bret Hart smooth shit right there. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I always liked Regal. I was watching an interview he gave, and he's like, it's not the move, it's how you get to point A to point B.
Yeah. In between.
Like if you're supposed to be in the turnbuckle, and then you're supposed to be Irish whipped off the ropes. How do you get from the turnbuckle to the middle of the rope to get Irish whipped off? You gotta figure out how you're getting there to make it believable. Because if you don't make it believable, none of the fans are going to sit there and pay attention.
Right. Instead of just like walking over, like, what could you do?
Mm-hmm.
And just work over into it. Like the whole ring is like it's a canvas, like literally a canvas for us to paint a story out for everybody.
Exactly.
That's what more people use the whole thing, but what are you gonna do?
Well, Fox, I got to tell it's time.
It's time. Vader time.
We like to sit there and ask a great question here on Future Stars Now. Hot tub time machine. If you can go back in the time to any point in wrestling history, take somebody out of a match, boom, and put Foxx Vinyer in, what match is it and why?
The Foxx Vinyer of today? Like me right now.
You right now, you're taking you and putting you in a match and taking somebody out. Any match in wrestling history.
Huh. That's a question.
Well, we've had many different people answer this question differently. You know, we've had Sean Waltman say, I had no fucking idea. We had Dan Barry say, I'm going to be Hulk Hogan to take on Andre and get that quick payday. You know, we've had Sabu say that he would love to take on Brock Lesnar. But this is you.
I'd watch the shit out of that match, Brock Lesnar and Sabu.
But this is you now. This is your big money moment.
I would say Mania 12 and take Shawn out and have me face Bret Hart in an Iron Man match. Because I would love to, 1, test my win. 2, tell that story. 3, wrestle with Bret Hart. And like, I have watched that match probably at least 15, 20 times since it's happened. That's 20 hours. It's like a day. And every time you watch it, you just see something new.
Mm-hmm.
And just the story and just like, I think it would be cool. Like, I mean, Shawn out wrestled him for half of it. And then it switched and then boom. Like, it was so well done. So I think I would take Shawn out so I could face Bret for an Iron Man match, which will probably end up being Bret with 50 victories. I'd have 1. But then I'd have it reversed and have it be 1 and all his 50 are disqualified. Where's Jack Tunney to come out and tell him that he's the president and he's switching it?
Now, are you doing the big entrance? Are you doing the zip line?
I'd have to do a more of a firework Foxx Vinyer style. This is where I would have. Well, what year was that? 96.
You can always have Man Mountain Rock out there playing you.
I was gonna say I want Limp Bizkit to play me out, but I don't think they didn't hit for another year.
Yeah.
No, see, I would come out. Well, that entrance kind of like was the thing that people look up to, look forward. I would do it, but as I'm coming down, I'd have a sparklers coming off, or like confetti falling, something that's like bigger.
So
somehow, if you can get bigger than that entrance.
Hey, now I can honestly say that's the first time we've had that answer, the Iron Man match.
It'd be a tough one, but it'll be a good one to test who I am and Bret Hart in his prime. Like remember the Jax figures?
Yes.
They get super loose, right?
Exactly.
And I would always reenact that match with my loose Bret Hart, who could, like, if you watch how he got pinned by Shawn, he was folded.
Mm-hmm.
Those loose figures, man, they made a great pin. But it's just Bret Hart at his best. Plus, he's in his black and black outfit, which was always my favorite.
Well, Fox,
Bret.
It was great to have you on here. I appreciate you stopping by. You want to tell everybody where they can hit you up on social media and get that merchandise?
you can buy this heart shirt right here. I'm everywhere at Foxx Vinyer. FOXXVINYER. If you want to listen to my band, that's Zoo Green 6. That's Zoo as in like animals, green as in the color, and then the number 6. That's on Amazon. Well, not maybe Amazon. I don't know. Just type it in. I know it's on Apple and Spotify. There's a couple songs. YouTube has some music videos. Um, if you want to see me on a television show, Severance comes out February 22nd. That's Ben Stiller directed. I'm punk rocker like 7 or whatever it was. Other than that, this Sunday, this Sunday coming up, Whitesboro, New York, Foxx Vinyer takes on ECW original HC Loc in NYCW. I don't know when this is going to go up, but that's on this January 2nd. So if it's past that, oh man, I kicked his ass.
Yep. Well, Fox, I want to sit there and say good luck to you at AEW. And I will be seeing you, you booked for PPW?
I'm the champion. You think I would be, but who knows? They're trying to bury me because I took over the stable. I'm the biggest heel they have.
Man. Well, Fox, thanks for stopping by. And, well,
thank you.
See you next time. Hey, any way we can possibly get a part 2? Maybe dig a little deeper?
Anytime. I got nothing else to do but talk.
Hey, thanks a lot, Fox. I'll sit there and I'll hit you up next time, man. Take care.
Peace. Happy New Year.
Man, there we go. That was Foxx Vinyer. He's been traveling up and down the indies. He is a veteran of the indies. He is a man that does it all. He does the acting. He does the music. He does the wrestling. And man, he's just waiting for that one opportunity. And that could be this time at AEW. Because he seems to get those opportunities right when you least expect it. But here we are, another edition of Future Stars Now, down and in the books. Tune in next week on FRM Pod, where we have the Mecca, Brian Johnson, coming on. Guys, check us out over on YouTube and Twitch. Follow us, hit the subscribe button. Head on over to brainbustercheese.com and get that merch. Well, I am the Ritt, filling in for my good host, Mike Freland. This is Future Stars Now.